All right, it's announcement time. Science fiction, fantasy, and weird books. Oh my! Hey everyone, it's Shannon, and I'm really excited to share in a new endeavor that I'm undertaking. I'm gonna put this sucker here into the world of science fiction, fantasy, and weird fiction in the realm of books. And then, if there's an adaptation, of course, I'm gonna watch the adaptation. But this is book focused, and why I'm doing this is because these are genres that I love. Like, if someone asked me, what's your favorite book genre? I would say science fiction and fantasy. I'm adding weird to all of this because, and I'll get to why weird is always awesome, but the weird part. But generally, science fiction and fantasy, I've always enjoyed them. I've always been drawn to them, whether it's in books, in movies, or in TV shows. But I've noticed over the past couple of years, as I've gotten back into reading, I haven't been reading a lot of science fiction or fantasy or weird fiction. And I'm like, what's going on? Why are you doing that? I don't know the why. I don't know the why, but I know how I can make it change, and that's to make an active effort to actually read these genres. So, being the person that I am, what I did was I made a list and I cobbled together titles from a bunch of different lists. There's a great NPR list. There's an list I got from IO9. There was one that is a syllabus for some course somewhere, and a couple other places. And I cobbled them all together, and I came up with a list of 195 titles. And I'm not committing to reading them all. This isn't a project. This is an exploration. I want to see where it goes. I want to see what happens. I want to see what my reaction is, and those kinds of things. I'm not committing to reading them all. I might. I don't know. There's a possibility. But the goal is to enjoy and explore, not just to get to the finish line. It's to be more like in the moment and being like, wow, this is cool, or hey, I don't like it, on to the next thing, or whatever. But the goal is to enjoy and to explore. So that's my goal, because these are genres I really, really love. Like, science fiction, it's so amazing. It's the what if scenario. It's people in space. It's people doing things that we don't think currently could be possible, but maybe they are. Or someone writing about something like that 100 years ago, and maybe now it is. I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet, you know? And for fantasy, my heart always goes to fantasy and always to magic. I love magic. You know, it's I don't know, it's like life but more, you know, like, talking animals, dragons, mystical, wonderful worlds, the unexplainable being a reality. Like, who wouldn't want that? And then I've added weird because I realize not everything fits in a genre box, but that doesn't mean it isn't a box of awesome, and I want to enjoy that awesome. So I'm including, it's a bit of a newer type of fiction. There, like, Lovecraft's there, so that's not super new, but it's less classified, I guess, in a way. And some things are genuinely both science fiction and fantasy. So are they either, or are they something else? And I also feel like new genres can happen, and I think they're gonna come from weird. Like, people wrote speculative fiction before speculative fiction was like a title. So what was it? What's the new thing like that? I want to try it. I want to try it. Anything is possible. That's the common theme for me with these types of stories, is that anything is possible, and I love that. I love that. So logistically, what I've done is I put all these titles together, and I'll put I'll create a bookshelf in Goodreads, and then I'm also going to probably put it into a blog post. Doing something like this is always big, crazy, because it's like, do you do it by title? Do you do it by author? Do you do it by date? Like, there's so many, how do you list series versus a standalone? So it gets a little complicated. I haven't quite figured out the logistics of that, but I think doing a Goodreads shelf would be a good starting point, and I'm really open to hearing new suggestions, and additional suggestions, and having the list grow, because that's just great. And I haven't not read anything. Like, I have, I'm not totally green. I've read Lord of the Rings, and I read like the Ender's Game series, and I'm trying to think of a big Lord of the Rings is the big fantasy one. Oh my gosh, there's more. Like, there's more. I've read, when I put the list together, I read about 40 of the 190, so that's not bad, but that's still a lot more titles to explore. Like, for example, I haven't read Dune, or Starship Troopers, or The Foundation, or Game of Thrones, Mist of Avalon. I've been trying to get through that for many, many years. Dragonflight, The Name of the Wind, The Last Unicorn, Perdido Street Station and anything that guy's written. Outlander, you know, that's one of those weird, is it fantasy, is it science fiction, is it, what is it, I don't know. I would put it in weird, because it's not quite, it's a little bit of everything, so it's a little weird. So anyway, so there's so many, these are the kinds of titles that I want to read, and how I'm going to do it is I'm going to alternate between science fiction, fantasy, and weird as best I can. I read a lot through the library, so sometimes that determines what I'm reading next. But I'm going to alternate through science fiction, fantasy, and weird. I'm also going to alternate between old, new, and iconic, you know, because I think we can get really hyper-focused on what's out now, and I really like to know what started that, what were the roots of that, although sometimes older titles have their own challenges, but every title has, you know, challenges, I'm sure. I'm also probably gonna do my best to alternate between men and women authors. And although science fiction does not tend to have as many women authors, but I'm definitely working on finding them. So, and that's part of this whole thing, is to go down a new rabbit hole, find new authors that I really love and enjoy their work. So yeah, I'm really super excited. I'm going to do video reviews for all the books that I read and share my thoughts there. I'm totally open to buddy reads or doing a readathon, a read along, if people are interested in doing that. If there's a title on the list that, you know, people have been really meaning to get to, we could always read it together as a way to encourage each other and get through it. Or to enjoy it, get through it. I used to always talk like that about getting through something. It's like, no, I want to enjoy it. If I'm not enjoying it, you know, you can let it go. There's some things that are worth it, some things that are not. And so the list may grow. I don't know where it's gonna go. And I might do a video on the ones that I have read, sort of some of the big iconic ones, but there's so many that I haven't read, and there were so many, like Snow Crash. It was like on all of the lists. I had never even heard of the author and I think it's Neil something. And I'm like, this is on all the lists and I haven't heard it. And I feel like, wow, I feel so out of it. One thing I have been doing though is I have been reading a lot of Lovecraft short stories. So I've got some of the weird going on already. So I've worked into my weird. And I have started and I've read 4 titles so far. So I'm going to start to do the reviews for those and share my thoughts on that. And I'm really super excited. For me, these are the stories that have so much in them, so much interesting ideas, you know, different. So there's a lot of social commentary, or, you know, and different ways to look at the world, you know, and lots of what ifs and lots of magic. So there you go. I will leave a link below for the list as it is so far. I would love to hear your suggestions, your favorite science fiction, fantasy, and weird books, anything that is underrated or anything to avoid, whatever it may be. I'd love to hear your thoughts. This is going to be a really fun journey, and I am so excited to share it. So there you go. Science fiction, fantasy, and weird. Exploration, adventure, journey. I haven't decided on the last word yet. I think exploration might be, I don't know, I think journey. Suggestions on that too. Feel free to let me know. Alright, thanks for watching!